right, peeps. So, always technology, right? I'm just gonna wait and see if we can get and continue. For those of you who were not on my class already today, I have temporarily set up a Facebook feed to coach you through these critical next steps. So I'm just gonna wait a little bit and see if people can join. If you were not part of our class earlier, lucky for you, you get to jump on with us and learn a little bit more. So deep breaths, everyone. I've lost my helpers. Can you just see if you can text Jen right now with your phone just to let her know? I am just going to wait. Yay. All right. So Mike, I'm assuming Jess, or maybe Mike. Mike's taking over the bread class. He's like so excited. This is going to keep us going until...
Facebook?
Yeah. Facebook, Fitness Baker. If you guys have anybody, I texted some people. The lighting is not optimal, but I want to just make sure I coach you through these next couple of steps. So again, maybe God is intervening, and some people that didn't join, like, can you imagine not wanting to join? They get to get a little sneak peek in the middle. So really, maybe this was some marketing scheme I had to, no, that definitely was not it, okay? So I'm just going to see how everybody's doing. Hi, Mike, if that is Mike. I'm just going to keep going a little bit just to make sure you guys are able to continue with me. I sent out a new link to start at 11. It did record with what we were doing, so I am very excited that I could repost to you what we have so far. This may work out well because by the time we get to 11, you guys I can show you how to shape and bake. All right, Jay Weber's watching. Jay Weber's watching. Woo, the famous Jay Weber. All right, so anyway, I told you guys before that, again, the biggest thing about our breads is the yeast. And the yeast is super important that you don't put it into a hot liquid because it'll die. It'll be very sad and we'll all cry because we don't want that to happen. You will not have any rising. So in the time that we got cut off, this was the orange bread roll. Now you can see if you were to knead this out right now, you would hate me. It's going to make a sticky mess. This is where you're adding in the rest of the flour. So do you add in 5.5 cups? Do you add in 6 cups? What do? You need to have a love affair with your dough, okay? And I know that sounds crazy, but it makes a difference. So you are now gonna add in 1 cup at a time, and you're going to sprinkle it in, all right? So you look at it, and you're like, okay, so this is why I'm the fitness baker, because you could do a KitchenAid. You're not doing that today though. You're going all hands on, but you can, for a time saver, it is less messy. You can see by when I told you before, you want to use a bowl that's bigger than what you think you're going to need, because when you start stirring the yeast around or your dough, the dough can get really big. The flour can go everywhere, and we're tired of snow, right? We don't want any more snow or reminders of snow. My poor family in Maine got wrecked. So you are starting to look at this like this. Now, I think a lot of the time when we're doing dough, I just want to see, Allison, I was reaching out to you. I got cut off by Zoom, so I'm glad you can watch. This is our class today. So again, you guys are... Okay. This stage is, I think, where people start to freak out with your dough. So what I'm going to tell you is you can go ahead, you want to keep your flour available to you, but you are going to go ahead, move some things out of the way, and you are going to flip it out. Now you can see, or maybe not, I just wanted to have you guys know what I have, because when we do our dough shaping, I have something that looks like this. So this is a Nonstick Silpat, type of, you can put that on your counter if you were doing your pie doughs. You're doing accurate measurements, but it also makes it a little bit cleaner for your counter. If you don't have this, you can just do it right on your counter. Just make sure it's clean. Okay. So we're going to kind of leave that just like that for now. So now, again, this is just working through here. We're going to just start to work this dough together. Now, for you guys that were doing our other sweet bread, this technique is still something that you're going to want to follow. You're adding in 1 cup at a time. Hey, Roxanne! I did a bread class that I got cut off on Zoom, and we're temporarily filling a little bit of the gap time until our next class starts at 11. So I'm just trying to piece together some of the people that are working through this at home, and maybe some of you guys can see a little bit of our class, because this is again where I think the critical piece of bread making happens. Now for you guys at home, I need to bring this closer because I feel like I have bad vision. Roseanne, good morning. So if you guys are doing your bread doughs at home and you're following the basic dough, you're going to start to feel like it holds together. So see right here, it's still very loose. When I took a class at King Arthur, they called it like a shaggy mass, okay? So it's starting to hold together. This is where your yeast is happening. It's bringing, that together, and you're also strengthening the gluten that's in your all-purpose flour. So when you are kneading, so if you're following along again, the basic bread dough, or you're doing your dough here, this is a softer dough. This is an orange bonnats. So you can get the recipe from me. This is my aunt's. We've had it every Easter for as long as I can remember. And this is a more delicate dough because it's not a vessel to carry other fillings. So if you were doing like a cinnamon roll, you're doing like, I fill mine with Nutella and chocolate chips for my younger daughter, Jana. I did one with a pumpkin filling, so I sweetened some canned pumpkin. I put a little bit of cream cheese on the layer, so it was almost like a pumpkin cream cheese situation. So the sweet dough, you actually want to work a little bit harder. For this softer dough, this is a roll, so you're actually going to kind of keep it a little bit more delicate, and it's going to be a little bit wetter. So when you knead, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here, is that you bring it together and you're just adding enough flour to kind of keep your hands, they're not sticky. This is the other thing about dough. People are like, oh my gosh, if I make dough, it's going to be like an accordion or some crap going on. It's not like that. Your hands are actually dry. They have a little flour on them, and I am basically folding the dough towards me, and then I'm rolling it away. So you could do this one-handed, you can do it two-handed, that's your choice. So you're just folding and kneading. By this recipe, we are going along for about, it says to knead it for 8 to 10 minutes. This is where you're getting to know your dough, all right? And it sounds ridiculous, but it's true. And this is why when people are like, oh, Marcy, you're such a good baker, because I believe I am one, but I've screwed up a million times because I did the wrong things. I put yeast in water that was too hot. I used expired yeast and it didn't rise. I beat the heck out of the dough before when it was supposed to be a more delicate dough because I didn't know when to stop. So you are trying to spend time. If you are using your KitchenAid, you are going and you're using the KitchenAid with the dough hook on, and you kind of let it go for 8 to 10 minutes. You don't want to turn your KitchenAid mixer on high though, because then you are actually going to make it a little bit tougher than you want it to be, and you're working it in a slow and loving way. Okay, so you're just folding it, and I use the heel of my hand just to complete the seam together, and then I rotate it 90 degrees. So you fold it, and then you kind of just gently use the heel of your hand, seal that seam up, and roll it away. So if the seam isn't holding, you can add more pressure. If it is just, you're really like going to the point where you're pushing so hard, you're almost smearing the dough onto your board, that's too much. You need to like back off. So at this point in time, this is where you're like, oh, do I do 5 or 5.5 cups? Right now, it is holding on. It's not taking on any more flour. All right, so if I move the rest of the flour that I put on to finish the 5 cups, I would actually put more dough or more flour in than I really need. I love that. So you are just going, again, kind of getting to that point. Now, if you're just feeling like, oh, you got some music going on, you're relaxing, you have your mimosa, or you have your, coffee with whatever inside, you are just enjoying the time, right? This is the time to just take a deep breath, everyone. And this is the time where you're not running around like a chicken crazy pants, and you can just put time into things and focus on what you're doing, all right? It's just like anything else. If you just take your time, take a deep breath. Again, I'm mortified that I had this wonderful class going on in this wonderful private group, but you know what? We don't always get what we want, right? So we have to move on, make the best we can, and these times that you're spending in the kitchen, we can all laugh about this, and it's better than crying. And that's the point of these holidays. How many times do we over prepare, worried about what things are looking like, trying to make everything perfect? Check and check. So maybe this is a lesson to me, all right? So you're just kind of working it, spending time and enjoying it. Don't rush through it, because when you have done the key things that I told you about, oh, my friend Alicia's here. Come in, come in. Come in, come in. Hold on. I sent out a new link. Come in.
I thought you were still on the thing.
Well, I'm on Facebook, but you can come in if you want. So I don't know what ended up happening, so it's just...
That's okay. I just brought the dress back.
Oh. No, so I'm just going on. I told you I did Facebook. So this is my neighbor, Alicia, who is on. We have to, again, practice social distancing, but she's welcome to, who knows what's happening. So we are getting to the step here. Jess, I'm glad you got back on again. Thank you. Bless you. Yeah, you're so sweet. So did you get the link? So we are going, for those of you guys watching, look for the new link on Zoom for 11 o'clock. I will jump back on there and we will record. So I want you guys, if you are following along with me, post any questions. How are things going? What I'm doing now is things that both everybody doing either the orange bonuts or the sweet rolls, you should be doing this step. Alicia, are you sure you're okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so she can come. Are you
Yeah.
sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right, so you guys are good? You guys are good? Penny, good morning. Again, I'm just explaining why am I halfway through dough? Because again, I had a bread class. If you guys didn't sign up, shame on you. But I am cut off and we are just filling in some gaps until we can resume for shaping and for baking and for fillings. Okay, so I'm just gonna get a little bit closer to see what's going on. Yes, please, I didn't see the recipe. Oh, good. Yes, I will definitely include this here. So you guys, at this point in time, you can't, again, the breads that we do with yeast, you don't have to worry about being so precise, like your cakes and your muffins and your cookies. Those are where you really need to be accurate about your measurements. Again, a digital scale is something that I would advise you if you are an avid baker, because it is very accurate. When you're doing breads, there's a lot of leeway. I told you, and if you guys are new and you're tuning in, the yeast that you're buying, make sure you look at what you're getting. Is it still good? They will expire and they will not rise. It is a live culture. If you are softening your yeast because you have a traditional yeast, if this is baking, you're new to you baking, and you are going to be baking because, again, everything that we're going through right now, people are buying flour, people are buying yeast. And you know what, maybe, and it's a great thing. I would encourage you, if you have not gotten them and you're having a hard time finding it, keep looking for it, because it's going to be something that you don't know how long this is going to go on for, and you want to be able to bake things for yourself, not just from a nutritional standpoint, because it's healthier for you, it's cheaper, and it's going to be it's a little bit more time, but it is a skill. You're not required to go out and buy a prepackaged items or takeout. Who knows what's going to happen? You need to be able to do this for yourself. And it can be fun once you know what you're doing, and the taste is 10 times better. So for those of you who are doing this bread today and you're working on doing this with me, eventually we'll get through it. But these are the skills that you're going to have a tremendous holiday with your family when you're at home. I can't be with my family, my aunt and uncle, and my sisters and my parents and everybody, that we're all in our own places, but these rolls are a way for me to connect with my family, that I physically don't have them with me, but I picture from when I was a little kid to right now, when I would have these rolls with them, and it just makes me feel so happy inside. So whatever recipes you have from your grandparents or your aunts, your uncles, your sisters, pull them out. It is a way for you to connect with people that you can't physically be with right now. So just make sure that you have, an old measuring cup that was your mom's or your grandmother's, and you don't really realize why you're still hanging on to it, because you really feel like you need to just upgrade. These things are special, and they are a way to connect generation to generation. So I really hope that I can be a part of that, with you guys spending a little bit more time learning and spending a little bit more time just getting more experienced at it, because it's going to change your life. Because we'll do pizza dough one of these times. I promise I will get sentimental sappy, but I can't help myself. All right, so you should be ending up, if you are doing this correctly, you are now ending up with this beautiful little baby. I've had my babies, they're grown, but you hold your new little babies, and right now, see, I'm not having this big sticky mess. It's just perfect. And if you start to press in, it's bouncing back, so you know the yeast is already starting to do its job, okay? So when you get to this step, you are now going to put it in a greased bowl, and you're gonna tuck it in. Now you're going to use butter, you can spray it, and you wanna make sure it's a clean bowl. You put your dough in, and you want to get the grease, so the butter, whatever you have, the spray, on all sides so your dough does not get a crusty exterior, okay? So you put it in your bowl, nestle it in, singing a little song, and then you're gonna take plastic wrap. Now typically, again, this is not environmentally friendly, I'm not gonna lie to you, but it works the best. If you have a towel, you can go ahead and drape that over the side or over the top. You just wanna really tuck it in. So take your plastic wrap, and I like to take 2 sides. Now I have reused my plastic wrap before, but again, I'm not gonna lie, it is really annoying because it just bunches up anyway. I can barely get it out of the container, and it's like hog tying me. So when I've tried to save it before, it just gets in my cabinet, takes up space, just irritates me. So yes, I don't environmentally take care when I come to bread baking because I probably shouldn't do this. But what I did was I actually tucked the plastic wrap around the dough to protect, almost like when you're doing puddings, they tell you to put the plastic wrap right on top of the pudding so it doesn't form a skin. So you kind of want to do that same thing here. And once you kind of get that all covered, you put it to the side. So as long as you didn't kill your yeast by putting it in a liquid that was too hot, you now just put it aside. So if it's your orange rolls, you put it aside. If this is your basic sweet roll, this is where you're following your recipe. And again, do you let it rise 2 hours? Do you let it rise an hour and a half? What is the standard? So you're basically looking about doubled in size. Now, even if you use rapid rise, use instant, I still use 2 rise times. Apparently you don't need to. But the longer that you let it expand, the more flavor you're gonna have. So if you're in no rush, put it aside, get your workout in, spend some time with your family, have a cup of coffee, whatever it is. That's really what that's what I told you before. Your yeast breads, they're really not labor intensive, they're just time intensive. So if you were, what I did last night, I pre-made 2 doughs. So this was when it rised, not sure. You end up with something like this, and I'm gonna show the people on my Zoom class how we're gonna shape our bow knots. Since I put it in the refrigerator, you're slowing down the rise time because it's not warm. If you were in a little bit more of a hurry, you could actually preheat your oven to like 170, let it come up to temperature, turn your oven off, and then put your dough to rise in a warm oven because you would close the door. Another method would be you could put water in a bowl in your microwave for like 5 minutes, pull that bowl out, and then put your bread that you're letting rise, your dough, in the microwave with it closed. Clearly you're not turning the microwave on. Don't let your family and your children go to make popcorn, and I guess they'd have to open the door, so that's kind of stupid. But you would go ahead, and it's warm in there, there's no drafts, it'll be very happy in there, and it will rise a little bit faster. So it just depends on your timeline with what you want to do, but honestly, when you really let it you give it time, so it's a warm area, and unless you wanted to slow the process down, you would keep it even just on your counter, that's fine. If you want to slow it down, so say if you wanted to do this recipe today, like you're watching me on Facebook right now, you didn't sign up for the class, just go ahead, you can leave me a message here and I can send you the recipe. You maybe have learned a little bit today to try it on your own. You could either bake them off today or let your dough rise overnight, and then in the morning you could actually go ahead and shape them and let them rise and then bake them. Or you could go ahead and do the rise today, then shape them and then put them in your refrigerator overnight tonight. and then bake them off in the morning so they're fresh. So they will certainly keep until tomorrow morning. If you just want to be done, you're putting your work in today, and then you are just good to go for the morning. You just bake them off. Everything's all done, or they're already made. So you just, again, grab your coffee, grab your mimosa, grab your Bloody Mary. That's probably what I would choose. And you're good to go. You're just hanging out with your family, enjoying the holiday instead of being in the kitchen, coming up with something special that's taking away from the time that you have. Again, I'm guessing people are not off and going about doing their things tomorrow because we are all going to be home. But watch your church services from home, connect with your family. Know it still can be really a wonderful day, even if you can't necessarily go to your family member's home. All right, so do you guys have any questions for me so far? We got about 20 minutes. Mike, you're my little sentimental Virgo friend. So anyway, I am going to wait a few more minutes, see if there's any questions. I am going to save this link to continue with my other class, but if you are watching and you are not joining the Zoom continued class, this is really what I do. My name is Marcy. I have been a physical therapist for 20 years. I love the fitness part of it, but I love baking. I believe in a life of moderation. I believe in a life of responsibility. So when you eat like this, I don't swear off carbs. I just eat pretty much what I want. I advocate for that lifestyle for you to take control of your health. But you don't have to go ahead and swear everything off and then maybe yo-yo back to weight that you had lost, and now you're just feeling like you missed out on things that you loved. You deprived your body of something that you really needed, and then, potentially it can come back to really bite you. Then you feel depressed, then you might start being less active, then you might start to gain weight, then you might start to eat more crappy food because it doesn't fill you up, it has no nutrition. You guys can see where I'm going with this. So this is a time where you need to learn maybe a little bit more about baking from home, no preservatives. It's cheaper. I know ingredients may be more limited, but there's tons of different options that you can do. You can use, certain whole wheat. Again, I was doing things with all-purpose flour today, like the mother lode, the grandfather of the baking world, all-purpose flour you can use in everything. Is it the highest nutritional content? No. But is it really good for you? You know what? It's carbohydrates. I know I get powered up from them. I'm a runner. I love exercising. Well, not all the time. I'm like you guys. You just have to exercise. I'm sorry. You have to do it. So your life and your health is made up of what do you do to eat? What are you fueling your body with? How are you exercising your muscles and joints? That's the physical therapist in me. You have to make sure they work. If you don't use them, you will lose them. You will lose them. And then your mindset. Okay? So you got to know, we could all feel like a ton of just a big pile of you know what. But I choose to be with you. I choose to believe in love. I choose to believe that we are going to be better. And I choose to believe we are all going to rise to the occasion and be our best selves in the end. And we're all going to love each other even more. Okay. Ha! My fly got stuck on my counter. All right. What's going on? All right, you guys. Morning, Marcy. Julie Ramsey, you did not sign up for my class. This is Chef. Kindly, I'm waiting for the recipe. Excellent. I will definitely come back and post to you guys so you have the recipe. Again, Zoom cut me off. I am a talker, but this is the best I could do to try to resume my class until I have another class scheduled at 11 o'clock to resume. So yes, if you are joining me, I am happy to share any recipes or the links with you for the replays of the class. I am also going to be offering a course, so I'm not subject to what's getting cut off, what isn't. I have a wonderful portal. It's my little baby that I'm growing, and it's super cheap. My angel number is 911. If you ever see number sequences and you're like, that's so weird, I always see that number sequence. And I always see that it's 911, and not in an emergency way. It's like always the clock or the gas pump stops at, $19.11. It's just a sequence I already see. So in the next 4 weeks, again, I want people to learn in a way that they're not limited to time. And it would be a course that is for your lifetime that I'm just going to keep adding to for $19.11. Just because I want it to be a way that I can educate you on nutrition, but all the recipes, step-by-step techniques, And I'm really excited about it. So that will be a way for me to connect with you without having to be limited by technology. And it could be something when you or your family, I'm not here, I've recorded them similar to this environment where I go through what you need to know for each recipe that I put on there. So today we're doing the orange bow nuts and we're doing the basic sweet dough, and I'm going to give you guys some filling options. So you can do traditional cinnamon and sugar. You can do Nutella and chocolate chip, which is when I came up with my daughter. I did one with just a cocoa powder filling, so I did regular cacao powder. And then I also did some melted butter, some espresso powder, and I made a peanut butter frosting to go on the cinnamon roll, which isn't a cinnamon roll, it's a Marcy roll. So that's the part. If you learn the basics of the baking, the rest of it is up to you. You know, I don't want you to kind of have your nose like down here, and I'm sorry teachers, again, I'm gonna tell you right now, don't put your nose in the book. Get in here, and just go hog wild with what you can do and know the techniques to end up with something that's worth it. And I teach you that, but the rest of it is up to you. You're at home and you've got kids and they're like, oh mom, I'd really like to try this. You know what? Add the melted peanut butter to your confectionery sugar and drizzle that sucker over your cocoa powder, cinnamon, or cocoa rolls. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And then I did another one with a peanut butter filling, and I added I melted strawberry jam, and I put that in the confectionery sugar for the icing and made it like a PB&J roll. And then I did another one with some brown sugar, drizzled in some maple syrup, some chopped up pecans, and a little bit of crispy bacon. So anyway, you're baking me crazy, right? All right, so anyway, those are what I'm telling you. All right, Abby, hi. Tamara. Yeah, going well here. I'm so happy, Tamara. Because again, I am fighting everything in my being not to freak out. People that are still watching, I apologize. My Zoom call got cut off. We did not have that issue last week. I should never assume anything. But this is another way, if you're just joining in, this is supplementing our time together. We started our rolls for orange bow knots and sweet breads. And so if you are from the class and you are having any questions, Tamara, I'm so happy that your doughs should all be together right now, and they should be very, very happy. And don't keep checking on them. Like they're like, you know, the beautiful children that you're raising, they just know what to do and they're never getting into trouble, right? You just let them go, and then they're perfect when you just see them again, and they just like puffed right up into awesomeness. So anyway, that hopefully is your household right now, and clearly that's not totally true, but hopefully mostly true. So anyway, I'm very glad that you guys are having success with your dough rising. Again, in your recipe, you're looking to see if say an hour to an hour and a half or 2 hours, we're looking for doubling in size. So really at this point, we're going to shape them and they rise again. So if you are just getting antsy when we rejoin at 11, then we can go ahead and go through some problems that people had. So it can be a lot more time for Q&A. And I'm going to show you how to shape and fill your bread. But right now, again, it should be tucked in with your plastic wrap. Make sure it's really kind of touching the dough itself. So it's going to allow for you not to have this kind of crusty film on the dough because it'll bake off, but you'll kind of notice, you might notice a little chunk here and there, which won't kill you, but you want it to be a nice smooth dough. So having the plastic wrap on top, again, you could have a towel if you don't have any plastic wrap at home or you're really being sensitive to our environment. Just really make sure that the material is in contact with your dough. So again, it allows for rise, but it's not going to give you that film on the top. Okay, so other than that, I guess I'll disconnect unless you guys have any other questions, or if you just want me to keep talking, because I'm not freezing. When we had tried this on Facebook before, which if you're new to this page, go ahead and like or follow. Totally awesome, right? You can look back, and we did a granola bar recipe. We've done a biscuit, but that was on Zoom, which went fantastic last week. And then we also did a banana bread. So those are on here, those previous classes, if you wanted to go back. And again, look for my offer that I'll put out for my membership. And again, in the next several weeks, everybody's financially strapped. I really just want to have a course content for you to have a way that you are going to learn a little bit more as we go forward. So maybe you don't want to do this at Saturday morning. You would be able to jump on your own course and then go through whatever module you would like for. And I'm not going to have a recurring payment for right now. It would be $19.11, my angel number. And you would just keep getting the updated recipes and the updated content for this period of time. Now, when this becomes like the best course ever, the cost is definitely going to go up because I'm hoping the library is going to be very extensive. But my big push right now is giving you a way that other than this, you have a way that you're able to access information to start baking for yourself, involving your children, involving your family. There will be a section for cleanup, so you'll be able to have your kids know how they can clean this mess up and it won't be up to you. So if you're making it from a start to finish experience, washing your hands, doing reading, learning math, this can be, to me, a very educational thing in the home ec classes. You know, these types of things are kind of getting obsolete now because of the crappy budget situation. And sadly, I don't see that changing in light of all of this. So it's up to you as aunts, uncles, parents, grandparents, it really educating your family. And that's the idea where, again, the Facebook, the Zoom, whatever, if you miss it, I just want you to have a place that you can go for you. Comment to me, I can coach you through, and it just seems like a really wonderful arena and something that's a labor of love for me, and you know, hopefully a way for me to help you in a way that, again, doesn't, you know, hopefully cost you more than you can handle, but I completely understand that as well. So I would still feature this. It's just obviously we're limited with technology and certain things for us to have the best success and the best environment. Okay, can't go off the cuff like this. I keep getting my fly stuck on my shirt. I mean my whatever. Tamara, what time are you shaping the orange knots? All right, so why don't we regroup? I sent the link out for 11. So I am going to come on at 11. I am going to demonstrate to you while it's continuing to rise. We will have another full 40 minutes. So in that period of time, I will show you how to shape with the dough that I already had pre-done last night because it's ready to rock. And then we will, you could certainly, I can watch you. You can maybe shape one or two. And we can review the fillings, and then you guys should be good to go. You know, this is going to be an ongoing relationship, I hope. So just check your email. And again, I'm going to go on. It should be, I did not enable the waiting room. So once you guys jump back on again, you should be having access to the room. And then I'm going to have you watch me first. So, you know, get your coffee, tea, beverage of choice. And then you can watch the beginning, and I'm also going to go over cleanup. So if you guys that's the big thing here, you have extra flour on your counter, don't take a sponge to excessive amounts of flour because it's just going to get all gummy and pasty and gross. Take a spatula, or if you have a bench knife, which maybe you don't, because I would say this is probably not in most households, but use a spatula and you can kind of scrape it up. And then you would throw this amount of flour in your trash. If you try to do this with a sponge, you will never want to work with me again, and that would make me very sad. So you want to go ahead, scrape it off, and have it, and throw it in your trash. You can put it aside because you are going to need a little bit of flour on your counter when we shape. So you can clean it up, but don't wipe everything down completely because you're going to want to re-flour your surface for the shaping anyway. So I hope that answers your question, Tamara. Give me a thumbs up or a little heart, or I would prefer not a middle finger, but if you want to give me that too, I totally understand. Thank you guys for joining me. Again, thank you to those people on my Zoom call for your flexibility and patience. And if you are just tuning in now and you're like, what the heck is she doing? Please just go ahead, leave a comment below, give a like, or again, I saw that there's some suggestions for the recipe, so I will post them here. Please go to my page, fitnessbaker.com, and go ahead and just join my email list so you can learn about different opportunities like that, and for being able to subscribe to my baking course, and that would be fantastic. So let me know again. I'm always here to help. If you have recipes you guys want to learn about, I'll do my best. I certainly don't know everything, but I've baked for a long period of time. And in this time, I really hope that I'm able to help you and share even the little bit of holiday that we have for this weekend. It's a very special one. So if you're just watching and enjoying, happy Easter, happy Passover. I know it already happened, but good wishes and health and love to all of you. All right? I'll see you guys in the group. And again, stay posted. Stay posted. I need to go. All right. Take care, you guys. I'll see you soon.